That's his opinion. Everyone is entitled to his opinion. But Tanko Yaka said, I think it's a little disconnected from what is happening on the ground. People are tired of old politicians that are available to be compromised, giving magisterial opinions on what they know nothing about. Anybody that thinks that it is possible for President Bola Tinubu to get re-elected is living in another country, not Nigeria. It is impossible for Bola Tinubu to get re-elected. I don't see a pathway for him, no matter how disorganized the opposition is. Who will vote for him? So, but you know, that's my opinion. As you can see, it's very, very different from Tanko Yaka's opinion, and he's entitled to his opinion. And as an elder, I don't want to disrespect him by going beyond that.
Malam Rufai is absolutely right. There's no pathway for Tinubu to be re-elected in 2027. He knows it. That's why he's running helter-skelter. Have you ever seen, since the Fourth Republic, or maybe since Nigeria's history, have you ever seen a president that started campaigning 2 years before the election proper? No. It is to show you how desperate and how he's panicking. He knows he can't win the election. He's not even behaving as someone who wants to contest election again. Yes, because ordinarily he should have focused on doing the job, focus on governance. What he does, if Nigerians can feel it, that will guarantee his re-election. That's the advantage of being in power. Unlike someone that's not in power, he will try to impress people, he will try to focus on things you are not doing correctly and tell people this is the way to do it. So he's not using all his advantages because he's a wicked person. Yes, if he were to be a nice person, all these failed policies, he would have left them for his second term. There's no need to punish people unnecessarily. After all, it is a gradual process. They tell you that the policies will materialize, that you should have patience, but they are very quick to implement the failed policies. Why not implement them patiently? Yes, implement them one by one so that the burden wouldn't be pushed on Nigerians. So you can see he's very, very desperate. He has descended to the level of inviting influencers to campaign for him so that they can start spinning narratives. It's only fickle minds that can fall for them. Don't fall for them. They have no pathway. This is the first time in Nigeria's history that someone that is in power seeking re-election has successfully pissed off the major political blocs in Nigeria. It's not possible. Yes. And he feels he's a master strategist, that despite all he has done, that he can still somehow win the election because he has captured the entire government apparatus. No. Nigerians must resist. If you don't resist, then something worse will come after Tinubu. That's the reality. All the people around him today are watching. The more Nigerians don't react to anything they do, the more they will dare and push the limits in future. If he's able to do all this, implement failed policies, there is massive insecurity everywhere. For the first time in many years, there was a suicide bombing in Mogadishu barracks in Abuja. Can you imagine this? All these are happening, but instead of focusing on governance, they are campaigning for a presidential election that is still 2 years away. Remember what happened to Goodluck Jonathan prior to 2015 presidential election? About 20-something governors endorsed him for re-election. Did that save him? Absolutely not. Today, governors are endorsing Tinubu. All sorts of unions and organizations, they come and collect their own envelopes and pass the endorsement. Is it going to save him? Absolutely not. Ordinary Nigerians know that he is doing very, very bad. Worse than Muhammadu Buhari, who at his time, people thought that no one could beat him in incompetence. This one has taken it to the lowest of the low. How low can he go? That's the question now. So Nigerians shouldn't fall for their narratives because the consequences will be very, very dire. Imagine someone that is punishing you with failed policies, despite the fact that he's going to come back to you and ask you to re-elect him in 2027. He doesn't care whether he's punishing you or not. He's just telling you that whether you like it or not, I will retain power. No, you have to say no to that. Because if someone is going to come and beg you something, he's supposed to try to please you. Yes, if you know you want to demand something from someone, you have to come in a humble way and ask the person, hey, please, can you give me this? If the person accepts, then, but not when you come in such a way. You are telling the person that whether he likes it or not, he must give you that thing. No. So this is why Nigerians must take the 2027 presidential election as a do or die affair. If you don't take it so, imagine how the next 4 years will be till 2031. Yes, this is what Nigerians are not looking at. The big picture means that if someone is able to do all this in his first term, imagine what he will do in his second term. Because even as a master strategist, he should be able to know that he is not supposed to piss off voters. He's supposed to be humble to the voters, make sure that the voters don't see him in a very bad light, since he has the intention to contest again. At least all these failed policies, he should have reserved them for his second term. If he wins, he will now start implementing them and telling Nigerians we have no other choice, we must do this. But no, we have seen this before. Under Yar'Adua, he came to power and acknowledged that the election that brought him to power was seriously flawed and promised to do something about it, and for starts, he reduced the petrol price. Can you imagine that? It has never happened since the Fourth Republic, a president reducing the petrol price on his own without any protest, without any pressure from NLC or other unions. So Yar'Adua's reduction of petrol price at that time was a sort of atonement for his sins. He knew he didn't win the election. The election wasn't free and fair. They just wrote numbers. Till today, INEC never released a tabulation of the figures for that election. State-by-state tabulation of what all candidates scored, they never released it up till today. Morisiwu announced what he wanted to announce, and Yar'Adua was declared winner, and as usual, the Supreme Court supported everything. So he atoned for his sins. That was why Nigerians loved him the more. Remember when he was in hospital, Nigerians genuinely wanted him to survive his ailment so that they can enjoy his presidency. Compare that to this one. He also came to power through a flawed election. He didn't win. Even going by the results INEC announced, he won a minority of the voters. And when he was sworn in, he couldn't wait to form a cabinet before taking such a life-changing decision as removal of petrol subsidy. He also floated the naira, which is another word for devaluation. This has led to massive poverty. Take for instance, if you had 1 million naira in your account around March, April of 2023, before he removed the petroleum subsidy, that resultant increase in petrol price already reduced the value of that 1 million naira. Imagine if you used to budget around 50,000 naira for petrol every month. That budget instantly increased in May because the quantity of petrol 50,000 naira could buy before that time suddenly reduced as a result of the increase of the price of petrol. So from there, the value of the naira started going down. It experienced a heavy drop around June when he devalued the naira. He calls it floating, which instantly increased the exchange rate. Today, the exchange rate is around 1,600 naira to $1. So you can imagine how many dollars 1 million naira used to buy in early 2023. Compare that to the reality in 2025. So you can see no one will vote for this person. Anyone involved in any sort of trade, even students, are not having it easy. He increased the tuition fees. He also increased electricity tariff. There is no area, no sector of Nigeria's economy he has not doubled or tripled the price. Yes, many companies have left this country. Companies that have been in Nigeria, they've been operating and manufacturing here for decades. They've all left, throwing millions of Nigerians into poverty, into unemployment. So any election, whether it is free and fair, whether opposition is in disarray or not, there is no pathway for him to win re-election. So Nigerians must stop falling for their narratives. Be focused on what you want to do in 2027. Come out on that day, cast your vote and defend it as far as you can. Yes, go to the collation centers and stand your ground to make sure they do the right thing. This is the only way to hold them to account. Otherwise, if they have their way, the future looks bleak for Nigerians. Thanks for watching.